10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Tune in.
This is your Friday Night Lights podcast, photo and entertainment in Middle Georgia sales and services.
Coke, don't worry about Pepsi. I had to go see a man about a meal.
Look at here, look at here.
A-Town down.
And you better not lose.
Tune in.
Not so fast, my friend.
You better say it with your chest.
Come on now, shout it.
And you better not lose.
Hey, you better watch your mouth now.
I am a Lego.
Better shut your mouth.
Yes, I am. I don't mean to interrupt.
Better say it with your chest.
Let's get it.
And you better not lose.
What's happening, people?
What's up?
What's going on? How y'all doing?
Good. It's been a minute. We miss y'all. I missed y'all.
Man,
I
who you
missed y'all
telling?
too.
It's been too long.
But we understand. We hope that our loyal listeners come on in and they see us live and get excited and start interacting with us. Sorry we've been away. But as they say, life be lifing.
Man, it has. For real.
And so we've had to deal with some very unfortunate events. So we're back. And in less than 60 days, we'll have our first scrimmage. So the dead period was last week. And so this summer we're going to see a lot of 7-on-7s. They got to practice and all this other stuff. So we are gearing up for the season, and it will be football time before we know it. And I'm sure I'm not the only one excited. Is that can we say that?
Yeah,
Of course, we can say that. I'm definitely excited.
So that's that. I don't see our people, or maybe no. That's yeah. I don't see. I hope y'all come on in. We here. We sorry.
It's a couple of them on. I see a
We
few.
sorry. We didn't cheat on you for real.
I just say we ain't cheat on you for real. Cole, you see. Oh, you see.
Come on back home, baby. I'm waiting.
Hell no. Hell no. Girl, you gotta get from started. Yeah, you gonna get from started with that boy.
Well. Let's see what we get out of that.
Ah, man. Too funny. I wish we could tell the joke, but we can't.
Yes.
We cannot. We cannot.
Which one?
Facts on that.
What's going on, J-Bo? How are you? What's going on, Jeremy? What's going on? Obadiah, how you doing, friend? We are back, and we are glad to see you.
Obadiah been stirring some stuff up, and I asked.
What y'all been up to in the county? Y'all gearing up to defend your title? Thank you, Obadiah. We're glad to be back. We really have missed you all. We've missed all of you all. So thank y'all so much for being patient with us and understanding that life happens.
So here's my question: do I need to change my profile pic?
Yeah.
Why?
What you gonna change it to, Thirsty?
I was gonna leave it as myself, like it
I like
is.
the, I, yeah, I like it the way it is.
I
You do
mean,
what
the
you
only reason, sis, I'm gonna tell you why I don't like it. We've already been dealing with enough BS from Thirsty himself. Now if he gonna put this picture up, I got a feeling we're gonna be dealing with a whole lot more BS from him this year. See, Thirst don't do stuff without calculation. It's a calculated move.
uh,
Well,
so,
we know
oh,
what's
so you
coming
trying to?
then.
We
Oh,
know
so
it's
you?
coming,
and
baby.
here's the thing though.
Hey, what?
That
Hey, what you say? I
calculation
should have
stuff
waited to August.
is coming with or without that damn picture, so you might well leave it up.
Exactly.
There you go. It's
We know
coming with or without that picture. You right.
we know you fella.
Man, I don't know what y'all talking about.
So what's
What's your
been up, fam? What's been up? I know we kind of been keeping in touch, but we haven't been together on this tip here in a minute. So, man, what it do? I miss y'all. I miss y'all listeners and all of that, man.
yeah. Yeah, I know it's been a while since we've been on, so I'll just let everybody know I'm getting married. Woohoo!
Yay!
Yeah, I don't believe that.
I was
Folks
about to
tell
say what now?
Hey, I'm sitting up there like, when?
In what?
and here's the crazy thing. April Fool been months ago.
I just said it to get attention. That's all.
I bet you did.
Girl, you about to break some hearts with that one.
I promise I did.
She definitely about to break some hearts with that one.
So I don't mean to be the person that want to rush along and all, but man, there's been some interesting things going on in Georgia high school football, man. How long will we be continuing with the pleasantries of, our reunion before we start getting into some good old Georgia high school football?
Well,
Well,
I was just kind of waiting and giving people a chance to know since we didn't advertise, giving the people a
Trying to get the
chance to
people
kind of come
trying to
on
get
and
in.
interact with us and tell us hello before we kind of dive deep
And I
into
respect that.
this.
And I respect that in which we should, but I'm just a little anxious over here,
Well, go
Uh,
ahead. Let's
call
dive
me
in.
call me freaking genuine because I'm so anxious.
That ain't
nah. Well, we're
quite
going.
genuine, but I sure will call you that.
Well, we're gonna do it like this. We know right now high school football, the transfer portal is wide open.
Like a
It is.
pair of
I thought we
legs.
were gonna start with the rules first, though.
Mm-hmm. The rule change.
Yeah, which is
I thought my boy would have that on the screen. I don't think he's I think he in remote location right now. He normally be on that.
Yeah, I am. I am in a remote location, so you gotta bear with me on things.
We
For
understand.
the next couple of weeks.
We understand. But
But
just
I am
know,
going.
listeners, we are gonna touch that transfer portal.
No, you know what? Hold on. We ain't gotta wait on it now. We can go ahead and touch on it now if you want to.
let's talk about the rules first. Then talk about the transfer portal. But
So
that's just it ain't my monkey or my circus. I'm
hey,
just I'm just here to I'm just here as a participant.
ooh, ah.
It
I
ain't
have to be
nah.
the monkey today.
You are mentally disturbed, sir.
Sometime. I
You
don't want to wear
know,
my medicine.
this what we talking about right here. Transfer portal. Hey, this is transfer portal.
Ah, it's deep in it.
That thing jumping like a double dutcher.
That's what the transfer portal look like right now.
Obadiah said Obadiah said we're gearing up to teach our young quarterbacks some lessons that transferred to a different school.
Oh, Lord. Yeah,
Oh, really?
Obadiah, we are aware of that. That kind of jumped on the scene yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how big of an impact that will affect you all recent. It may be an impact a couple of years away, but I think you put it pretty solid at the quarterback position for the
Yeah,
next
and
couple of years.
which could possibly be him seeing the writing on the wall
Mhm.
and deciding to make his mark elsewhere. What you think?
Well, makes sense to me. But as we go down the list, this is something that I was going to do. I was going to compile a list. You know how the NCAA have the transfer portal and which teams has the most transfers and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think Carrollton and Hoko and Langston Hughes, there's a couple of them, man, that got a list going right now.
Douglas County, yeah.
Douglas County got a big list going right now. Spin that one how you want to.
You're absolutely correct. What what's going on, Kendrick? How you doing? Welcome. Hey, Miss Esther. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome back. We're back.
Kendrick says he'll come back in about 3 years. Miss Lakeisha said it's no impact at all. But I wish the young quarterback luck, but he wants to shine too fast. Okay, then.
Well, that makes sense, but let's be real now. Let's be real, Miss Keisha. It's definitely going to be an impact on your program. The coaches know that. They're looking at that young kid and saying and making plans on the future. And like I said, there won't be a direct impact because I think you're pretty good at the quarterback position right now. And I think he may be a rising junior. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. So I know for the next 2 years, but you will already have had that replacement in place. And if you lost that, that will be an impact.
Yeah.
So, can somebody out there answer me this? What grade was the young quarterback in that transferred?
I think he's in the eighth, going to the ninth.
Going to the
Oh,
ninth.
so it's that kid. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you said that
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah.
Okay. What's going on, Danny? What's going on, Chris? He said, "What's up, people? About time
We're
you get back
back.
on."
We're back, Chris. We're back.
My wins has been born these past few weeks. Yeah, life happens. So, we had to take a break and recalibrate, but we are back in the wonderful month of June. It's one of the best months of the year.
Yes, it
But
is.
but I digress. How you doing, Paris? What's going on? Yeah, Miss Esther said exactly. We got time. So, the transfer portal. Oh wow, I'd be interested. So he must have really been making noise in middle school, because
He was. That's why I said that kid. Yeah, because they were bragging about him at the start of last year. He's really good.
wow. Okay, what's going on, Paul? How you doing? He said he's damn good. Okay. What's going on, Mr. Gardner? Go syrup makers. I see y'all got a stud coming up. Good job. Congratulations. All right, let me borrow a little bit. Paris. He said he working at Warner Robins Air Force Base. Nothing but making money.
Yeah,
I
go
ain't
on and
mad
cut the
at
check, P Money.
Let me
it.
hold, let me hold 20. Let me borrow $20.
Yeah, 20. I need at least 200. Wait a minute, Kendrick. Are you saying that the ninth grader is already committed to Florida State?
That
Is that what
good.
you're telling me? As an eighth grader going into the ninth grade, he is already committed to Florida State.
Man, you know Florida State do that type of stuff.
Wow. Oh, Paris said he gonna give us 25. We're gonna put our cash app up. I'm gonna see my cash app.
Definitely gonna send it to you.
She says he's a 4-star as a freshman. Okay.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
that. Now that's
Wow.
very impressive.
So I'll be excited to see this kid. So Where's Mr. Gardner? So, Mr. Gardner, let me ask you this: if he's a 4-star as a freshman, he's already got to commit. Will he be starting, or y'all gonna start him out in JV or ninth grade, or are y'all gonna make him a first day starter as a freshman? And what does that, who is your current quarterback? Do y'all have faith in him?
Shit, I think that's already been answered.
Well,
I'm
it might
I'm
be another.
interested in
Yeah,
seeing how that plays out.
me too.
Obadiah
Yeah.
said, "Y'all know he gonna start."
His daddy has a coaching job at
Oh,
K-Roll. Ooh,
this is getting
okay.
messy.
Messy. Okay. Let's see. Danny says this transfer portal is going to make or break some of these teams that just don't have star athletes to motivate them.
Mm.
Do y'all think that one player can make or break a team? What do y'all think about that? In
Depends
process
on.
and in panel.
I know for me, it depends on the position.
It does.
Quarterback, quarterback will have an impact. Will have an immediate impact. Um, just my thought. After the quarterback, the second most important position is I'm gonna say running back, and
Mm-hmm.
then after that, key defensive players. I'm gonna put it like that. I'm not gonna say a position, but a key defensive player will
Mm-hmm.
have third number would be number three on the list and make an impact.
Yeah,
Because
good
in my
line
mind,
back.
because in my mind, receivers are dime a dozen. You can find a receiver and you can make a receiver, but linemen, I just need for you to get in the way. I'm saying offensive lineman, just get in the way. You ain't got to make a block. Just get in the defensive player's way. Um, when you're looking at the defensive lineman, shit, get up, man. Just get upfield. That's all I need for you to do. Get upfield. Unless you just have one of those, top notch edge rushers or dominating defensive tackles. Cool. Linebacker can make a difference. Secondary players in the secondary can make a difference too.
Um, Lakeisha says, and Kendrick, they both agree. Miss Lakeisha says you need more than a quarterback to make some noise, and Kendrick says a good quarterback can't carry a team.
My
Um,
my
All
question
right.
is, what does Cairo need? If they needed a quarterback only, then yeah, it will be a huge impact. And I mean, even if they didn't need a quarterback and he shows up and is the better quarterback, that may improve the play of everybody else on the team.
Hold on.
mhm.
I got. Okay, this is my question. This is my question, and I'm talking from class 3A and up last year, from 3 to 7 last year. Tell me one team from 3A up to 7A that was in a championship game that did not have an above average quarterback.
You can go down as far as Pierce County on the heck Prince Avenue. Yeah, let me see.
What I'm saying, okay, what I'm getting at is one, looking at, I'm not gonna say look at the champions from last year, but
Who played?
the thing, my biggest thing is this: you got to have above average quarterback play to win a championship these days. You
Yeah.
cannot do it just with a stout running game or a stout defense. You just can't do it.
So,
You got to be able to complement your defense.
so Jeremy says Woodward Academy. He named them that they didn't have a decent quarterback.
That's a
I didn't
lot.
watch
Wood
that game.
Academy. First of all, they didn't play for the championship, and number two, the defense, that quarterback is decent.
Okay. Um. Brian said the team y'all beat Savannah Christian.
Savannah
They had
Christian did
they
have
had
a
above
decent
average
quarterback.
they had above average quarterback play. You c- they had above average quarterback play.
And let's be honest, Brian. Unfortunately, the quarterback looked as good as he did because of the tight end and the receivers that he had, plus a lot of the running backs. But he was a decent game manager to be able to get them the ball. So I can't say Savannah Christian didn't have a decent quarterback.
We're not talking about stellar quarterback. We're talking about at least above average.
Above average.
At
Above
least
average.
above
That's it.
average. We ain't talking about you can't have terrible quarterback play and be in the
Okay, I'll
championship
give you a prime
game.
example. The Mary Person Bulldogs had a stud at the running back, but they had just a below average or average quarterback. That couldn't get them over the hump. That kid couldn't get them over the hump. If they would have had an above average quarterback, they probably would have been okay, a lot better than what they was last year, as far as how far they made it and things like that.
Because after
Mary Person would be a good point to what it is that my brother is saying.
Yeah, because after Cedar Grove folded that baby like a lawn chair, Mary Person couldn't do nothing else, like nothing. Let me go back. I'll come back and answer your question in a minute, Obadiah. Lamont said the current projected starting quarterback for Cairo is good, but he's not a highly ranked prospect, so the freshman could potentially start right away. They may also split time with both of them. Do y'all think that's a good idea?
Of course not.
Yeah, dual quarterback.
If you got two quarterbacks, you don't have one.
You don't have one. I agree with that. Wait a minute. Okay, so Kendrick was saying, he said a good quarterback can carry a team.
Yeah.
He misspoke. Okay, we got you. Paul said Stockbridge didn't have a above average quarterback.
Yeah, they did.
Brian says above average is not decent. Average equals decent.
Okay. Once again, I'm gonna put it out there again. I look at pretty much from 3A on up, and y'all can go look at the stats and tell me if I'm wrong. But I guarantee you, each and every one of them quarterbacks in the championship game from last year, 3A up to 7A, had a minimum of 1,800 yards passed.
Okay. What's going on, Tick? How you doing? Tick and Brown are saying the same thing. Are decent and above average synonymous?
No, decent is average.
Yes. So what you're saying is, so when we say a decent, if you got a decent quarterback, can you make it to the championship game? The quarterback has to be above average, right?
Above average, yes.
So all the teams that they're calling out, Woodward Academy and Stockbridge.
Stockbridge had an above average quarterback.
Okay.
Because from what you saw in their first game that they played against, I want to say it was Douglas County, when they played Douglas County in their first game, quarterback was putting the ball there, receiver didn't help him. Receiver room grew and started helping him out in the season. Granted, he had a very nice running game to complement him, so he didn't have to do much. But when he was called upon, he made things happen. Now, that's Stockbridge, Woodward Academy. Good running game, had an above average quarterback who wasn't required to do a lot. But again, when called upon, he did what he had to do.
As opposed to Mary Persons, when called upon, he could not get it done.
Correct.
Gotcha. Do y'all agree with what Danny just said? He said a good quarterback needs a good running back as well as a decent wide receiver to be competitive this season.
No, I disagree. A quarterback needs a decent running back. He just needs some receivers. He can do it with average receivers. But you got to have that running game to go with it.
I think one of the other has to be true. If you got a decent quarterback, you got to have above average running backs and receivers. If you got an above average quarterback, you need at least decent receivers.
You need decent receivers, above average running backs. And prime example. Let's look at I don't want to call my own school, but I'm gonna talk about it. City Grove. First couple games of the year. First 2 to 3 games of the season. We had above average quarterback play, above average running back play. We had average receivers. When we got that above average, top-notch receiver, yeah, we knew what we can do with him one-on-one. And it opened it up for everybody else. But at the same time, quarterback was still making the plays when he wasn't there, when he wasn't on the field. Quarterback was still making plays to average receivers. But again, that running back, that running game, complimented him and took pressure off of him.
What's going on, Oscar? Oscar says, so a decent quarterback with average wide receivers really might? Nah.
Yeah, when you got an above average running game to go with it.
He said, hell no. So a quarterback going to be inaccurate and wide receivers going to be dropping passes. Something ain't right. You can't win like that.
Shit. Okay. That's what Carrollton did last year. Now, granted, Carrollton did not make it to the championship game, but Carrollton was winning. Hell, Langston Hughes was winning with average receivers up until a point. You had an outstanding running back, outstanding running game, and average receivers
and
on both teams.
Top-notch quarterback.
Yeah, on both teams, but it only got them. It got them to what, the quarterfinals? I think got both teams to the quarterfinals.
Mm-hmm.
But you can win with that type of combination.
Let's see. Kendrick says running opens up the passing game. It's a balanced offense.
Correct. You keep the team on their heels. Play action. Because when, like for us, when we started doing play action late in the playoffs, it threw everybody off. We've never gotten under center and ran play action.
Mm-hmm. Danny says EJ Colson is no average quarterback. Without both, Cedar Grove would have had some serious problems.
Ain't that what I just said? Ain't that what I just said? Above average quarterback play, above average running back, running game.
And both of them are way above average. Oscar says Carrollton's quarterback is not average. He's top notch. The wide receivers are, and their wide receivers are good.
Can anybody name me one receiver that played for Carrollton last year? One receiver that played for Langston Hughes? Without looking it up.
I can't.
Because they had no big name. Neither team had big name receivers last year.
But were they above average?
Who, the receivers or the quarterback? The receivers were average. The receivers were average.
They weren't above average.
No. I will give them this though. They at least at Carrollton, they ran disciplined routes. Great routes they ran out there. They had great route combinations at Carrollton. Hughes, at Langston Hughes, it was a lot of Nolan kept plays alive, let the secondary break down, and found receivers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, go back and watch the game between the two teams.
Yeah.
First game of the year first game of the season last year.
Obadiah said, what hurt Langston Hughes in 2023? Injuries.
Injuries and injuries. Same thing with Carrollton. Hurt. You know, Carrollton had lost their key running back. Now, don't get me wrong, the little freshman that came in stepped up big time to replace that senior that broke his leg in that first game. But yeah, injuries, man.
Yeah. Keisha said it all depends on your personnel. So, and then Oscar says, I'm gonna come back to you, Danny. Oscar says, I'd rather have a great group of wide receivers than just one big name. What you can do with a team loaded at wide receiver one through four deep.
Okay, we're going to see. Keep an eye on Douglas County this year. They're basically 6 receivers deep. Got the number 1 receiver in the 2026 class, and 5 more. Supposed to have a good quarterback this year. Not sure what the running game is going to look like, but the running game should be above average. We're going to see. The problem with Douglas County. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
I was going to say the problem with Douglas County is you're coming into the season with this high power offense, but what are you doing to build up that defense and fix that defense? Because that was your Achilles heel last year.
Well, I'm sure they're not through because They are pillaging. They are being pirates at the moment. They are pillaging everywhere.
Yeah, damn man. But I'm gonna be honest with you though. You running four receiver deep. What are you gonna do to offset that though? How are you how are you gonna put together a championship drive with four deep receivers and an average running back? How are you gonna put together a championship drive at the Benz, 2.5, 3 minutes on the clock? You got the ball on your 20 and you need to drive the clock out. All you need is three first downs. You gonna air it out each and every time? That's ridiculous.
Also says his running back is good too. He plays one wide receiver running back, and he's one of their top players and one of the best in that region. And Danny and Obadiah, what I was saying is I'm coming back to your questions because I want to make sure that Yo is on the line because he can probably answer that question better than anybody with regard to Peach County because he's probably seen them more than I have this year.
And that's gonna be a conversation between me and Yo, because he already know how I feel about that.
Yes, we understand.
So it's gonna be that's gonna be an interesting conversation on that answer.
Yeah, so when he gets back, we'll get back to you. He says he thinks it's gonna come down to between three teams: the Bearcats, Cairo, and PC. I agree, Obadiah. Those three will definitely be in the mix. Okay, so who else? Let's see.
I'm interested in
portal. Who else is it? We've talked about Cairo. Are there other?
I'm interested in Stockbridge.
I'm sure you are.
No, and not just because Stockbridge has some old City Grove, some previous coaches from City Grove over there. It's just a lot of expectations was on Stockbridge last year. You lost a 2,000-yard rusher. To see how they're gonna replace that production and see how that coaching staff handles mesh with those players and vice versa. See if they can bring it together and build off of what they had or what they did last year. It's gonna be so. That's why I say it's interesting to me to see what Stockbridge does and how they come out this year.
Danny, Mike is going to answer that question when he and Yo can have a debate. That's why he was saying he was going to wait and tell you what his opinion is. Because they're going to actually, I'm sure, they're going to have a debate. It's going to probably last about 5 minutes. So,
well, I can answer this one question right here. Last year or when the word came out that when you guys hired your coach at Peach County, my initial process was 2 years. 2-year process for him to get Peach County where he wanted him at. We're going into year number 2. There's going to be an improvement on last year. I give you worst case scenario 7-3. Worst case scenario right now.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
And I'm gonna leave it at that. And that's him coming off of what, 500 season?
A 4
last year.
Season. Yeah.
Yeah, a losing season last. Yeah, below 500 season.
Mm-hmm.
Improving by 3 victories. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
How do you feel about Bainbridge?
Bainbridge?
Yes.
Again, new coach. Because everybody knows how I feel about bringing in coaches from outside the program. It's just one of those things that takes time, at least 2 years. But Bainbridge, I'm gonna be honest, 500 season.
And we'll
regardless of what you think you got down there, if the kids don't buy in off the rip, it's gonna be a long season. It's gonna be a long first year for the head coach.
Mm-hmm. So, podcast land, can I ask this question? You all saw our way too early polls. What do y'all think about them?
Definitely was waiting for Yo to come back for this one.
I mean, I'm just getting there. I mean, we'll pull them up and go down on one by one, but just just off the bat, I just want what their opinion was. I already know what the Carver Columbus Tigers think. They think it's bull, but what?
They made sure that we knew that.
Oh yeah, Coffee's not pleased either. Coffee's definitely not pleased. Perry is not pleased. But y'all just have to understand that there's a reason why it's called way too early. And the reason is mainly because they kind of just went by last year's rosters and what you were leaving. And unless your roster has been updated, I know y'all got people coming in and people transferring, or you got next man up stuff. But the problem is the next man up, he could probably blow everything out of the water, but it hasn't been proven yet. Number one, and number two, any new guys that you've coming in that are more seasoned, you might know that they're coming in, but it hasn't been updated on the roster as of yet. So again, that's why it's a way too early poll. We just going by what you had last year and what you lost. That's it. Okay. So if for those of you who are upset about it, there was no need, baby. No need at all. Yes, right, Danny. They were just early predictions. Kendra said, what do you think about the new indoor facilities? Where Kendrick? Who has new indoor facilities? Speaking of, do you think that's going to become a new trend now that people are going to start requesting indoor facilities?
If they have, I mean, for those schools that have the ground for it, I don't see why not. Schools that got the money, booster club money, I don't see why not. I mean, especially for them summer days, get the kids out the sun. Rainy days, get them off the field, put them in. But something like what Gainesville has. Gainesville is not a true indoor facility; it's a covered facility. That's what I call Gainesville. It's a covered facility because the sides are open. The sides are open, but it's good shade coverage. So that's what I say.
It's a full practice field. It's just covered.
Yeah, it's a full practice field, but because they actually got two practice fields. Cause they got that outdoor field right next to it down the little hill.
Okay.
And then plus your other sports, soccer team can use it to practice. If you got a lacrosse team, they can get out there and practice on it. So you can use it for multi purposes. I think it's a good idea, especially here in the South with the heat and the sun in the summertime.
How many teams got a lacrosse team? I'm just asking.
I'm just threw it out there. Work with me.
I mean, I was really curious. I was just asking. So TCC is building one and Coffee is building one. I see your shade, Obadiah. I see your shade. You ain't slick, buddy. I'm sure it's gonna be nice. I think both facilities will be nice. So, speaking of facilities, how many of y'all saw what Buford is doing again?
Oh, with the stadium? Oh, you talking about with the new stadium complex?
Yeah.
Yeah, might as well put that money to use. All that money, them kids playing to play ball up there. Might as well put that money to good use. Yeah. Outside of that, all you're doing is putting the money in the pocket of the coaches and the football program.
True that. Speaking of, when's the last time Buford won a state championship? Was it 2 years ago?
You talking about football? Was it 2 or 3? I know the last time they won was in 6A. So
Oh, 3 years.
shit, no, that's 3 years. Yeah, they haven't won one in 3 years because they was in 7A for 3 years, right?
Mm-hmm. So how
Yeah.
long do you think this coach had? Do you think this coach is going to end up on the hot seat if he doesn't do anything this year?
I hope not because Buford ain't one thing Buford hasn't had is a good receiver. Rayola had they had no receivers last year.
Hmm.
The best receiver they had was KJ, and
Well,
he wasn't catching everything.
well, something can be said. Maybe that's coaching too, because they hadn't recruited the
I
right
know,
people.
right? I mean,
Mhm.
you had a nice pocket passer. You know, you had a nice running game. You just had no receivers to go with it to complement your offense.
Gotcha.
So shit, I'm gonna do like Carver did. I'm I'm putting 9 in the box on you. I'm playing your receivers man up. They can't beat me.
There it is. Let's see. Danny wants to know what will be the most watched game for all of you this season. Miss Lakeisha says Thomas County Central versus Lee County. That is definitely going to be a good one. I personally think Thomas County Central and Coffee will be a good one, but other people don't think it will be that great because they don't think Coffee will be anywhere close to what they were last year. I
Mm.
still think it'll be a good game and could possibly be for the region championship. Just saying.
And wood.
In that region, I said possibly.
And wood.
I see you brought your black. Okay, this is not
Okay,
a
let
problem.
me. You
I
know
see
what?
you brought your behind back here.
Let me head out and see.
Cricket Mobile, Cricket Mobile.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Tick said Northeast versus Peach is what he's looking forward to. Me too. Um, Obadiah says TCC and Coffee. Speaking of that, we might need to reach out to Florida State and see if we can have that game in their stadium for the fans. Oh, that's the weekend of FAMU's homecoming too, Sugar. I don't know. That's
Well,
a lot of traffic.
the game for me is gonna be Thomasville High and them Purple Fairies.
Ah, yeah. I want you to be careful in being Hill County, man.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm good everywhere I go. I'm not worried about them.
Okay.
that's gonna be a good game though.
It's definitely gonna be a good game. That's October the 11th, I think.
Yes, I don't know what they're returning, but I'm just excited about the return of the rivalry itself.
Yeah.
Outside of TCC, that's like they became our biggest rival.
Miss Lakeisha said she would have said coffee, but that young man Fred is gone. So
Mm-hmm.
they have to go to Thomasville has to go to Fitzgerald Obadiah. Kendrick says, who do y'all think has the nicest stadium? I think Doherty County. Uh Buford.
You say Doherty?
In
Yeah.
what?
And what?
You like,
Listen.
baby? You like the project?
The reason I said I hadn't been to Hugh Mills Stadium in a very, very long time, so maybe they have really, really upgraded. So I don't know.
Mm,
But
mm, mm,
Mr. Odom, the last time we played them, we played in Fitzgerald, and I don't recall seeing roadblocks. Cause I think they would have got a lot of us coming up out of there.
mm.
did y'all win?
Yes, we won. That was the game before state.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Hey, what's
um,
going on, Emma?
I think the game I'm really looking forward to this year. It may be a little biased and personal, but I think that first game of Douglas County and Cedar Grove is going to be an interesting game.
Do you think it will be a competitive game?
No, I said interesting, not competitive.
Now that you're back, you think y'all want to go ahead and answer these questions? I held off on them because you weren't on here. Yo, but Obadiah had a couple of questions.
Let's get it.
And Danny, and they kind of go together. So Obadiah wants to know. Let me go back. Okay. Hey, Zari.
Hey, Zari. Let me answer Obadiah real quick.
Yeah.
That's me. That's my son in the background with my phone.
Oh, okay.
He's playing flicks.
Oh, that's Dory playing flicks too.
Oh, well, look at her.
Lord have mercy.
That stems from having your grandmother as the babysitter. And she's singing it.
We know what they were doing today.
Mhm.
Obadiah, let me see. I can't. It was up. He wanted to know. He really wanted to know what impact you thought that Cairo quarterback coming in would have on the outcome of the region championship. Between those three Bambers, Cairo and Peach. Danny wanted to know what you thought. What do you think of Peach County this season? So you can answer those two questions, and then we'll move on.
I'm gonna just say it like this when it comes to the Thomas County. I'm sorry, the Cairo's quarterback. It's gonna take a lot for a freshman to step in and win big games. Like this kid got to have ice water running through his veins. I can go back to Juju. I can go back to AJ Hill. I can go back to EJ Colson. There have been numerous of freshmen that was that height. Oh, Shakira, the quarterback that Thomasville have now, coming in out of the 8th grade, was rated as one of the highest quarterbacks in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
So having that tight spotlight on you as a 8th grader or rising freshman is good, but to be able to step in on a field, lead, because that's what a quarterback's job is, to be a leader, to lead upperclassmen, to get those kind of victories in big games when you're talking about region championships and stuff. I just don't see it happening. It didn't happen with guys like Juju, AJ, EJ, things like that. The kid down in Thomasville. So I think the kid would be productive, may go on to have a great career, but I think he'll kind of take his bumps and bruises. First year starter on the varsity level.
Okay.
If he's even the starter, like. So what was the next question from Danny?
He wanted to know what you thought. How did you think Peach County would do this season?
At worst, 8-2.
Hold on. Look at it's on the screen. How does the panel feel the quarterback for Peach County Trojan would do? Yeah, we'll do this season.
I forgot the quarterback part. My bad. I was going off my memory.
I'll just say this: DJ Hudson may be the second best quarterback in the Middle Georgia area. DJ Hudson will do it.
I'm sorry, I got something in my throat. Let me mute my phone.
Go ahead.
Like I was saying, DJ Hudson may be the second best quarterback in Middle Georgia, behind AJ Hill. Mark my words, shake my receipt. Danny Jones, by year's end, DJ Hudson will throw between 22 and 2,500 yards and rush for another 500.
Woo, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Y'all teaching him to stay in the pocket.
No, see you going in and out. Shut up. Let's see.
Y'all teaching him to stay in the pocket.
Let's see.
That's my only issue with him. He don't stay in the pocket long enough for him.
No, okay. What's going on, Dwayne? I'm sorry. I don't know why that's funny to me. Paris said DJ's gonna be fine. Let's see. Miss Keisha says she thinks Peach County has got their peach back from the housewife. I'm sorry, that's funny to me.
Hold
Hell
on.
no.
I got an audience. I didn't hear that. What was her comment?
She said, I think Peach County has gotten their peach back from the housewives. They're looking pretty good from a coaching standpoint. I'm sorry.
Well, at least we know we ain't the only one making jokes around here.
I know, right?
Dwayne wants to know what y'all think about Brooks County Trojans.
Brooks.
Yes.
At this point in time, Brooks is my pick to win Division I AA. My preseason too early pick.
Oh wow.
I'm taking Brooks County.
Okay. Now, with that being said, guys, what time is it? Are y'all ready to pull up these way too early polls? Because I asked them what they thought about it, and most people were okay with it. I'm sure Coffee and Carver were the ones that just aren't overly pleased. And Perry.
But let's get it.
Yeah. All right, give me a few. Hold on, give me a few seconds.
You starting from top to
Because I thought
bottom?
because I thought that quarterback thing was gonna go a little bit longer than it did.
Oh, my bad. Tick says even with the new head coach.
On what side, Tick?
Brooks.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm just gonna say this. I thought the same thing. Like, I'm gonna be honest, and I hope I don't offend any of the Brooks County fans. When I heard about a guy that I can actually say has become a friend of mine, we kind of talk, make fishing trip plans. I just hadn't drove all the way down there to Brooks County or wherever he at now in Alabama to go fishing with him. To have a guy like that on your staff, to force him out for whatever reason was going on down there in Quitman, Georgia.
Well, allegedly forced him out.
Allegedly, I'll say that allegedly. I got a coach that's on the staff, another coaching friend that said they are the truth. And he's not going to tell me anything wrong. So when he went down some things and I started looking at some things on kids that did stay, kids that are angry and that's going to play like they're angry because of allegedly forcing out the great Maurice Freeman, I don't think no other team want to really be lined up across that line of scrimmage from Brooks County this year.
And then Brooks is loaded for a couple of years. Paris says, I think in our region, Macon County has a running back watching. Speaking of which, that's something in the transfer portal we didn't talk about.
Paris, don't worry about the running back from Macon County. Crawford County will not have to worry about him.
At all. House of Neville, Thomas County Central, you might.
You may.
Lee County, you might.
You may. Crawford County, you may.
You may. But Crawford County does not have to worry about the Macon County running back.
Do not.
All right. So this is our way too early poll, guys. Y'all look at it. Y'all tell me what you kind of discuss it and what you think. And again, I told you what the reasoning was behind the poll and why people are where they are. So, y'all, what y'all think, Podcast Land? And do y'all have anything to say about it, Podcast?
I do.
Let's
Shout
go.
out number 6 on this poll, man. They have made some big moves, and I think they will get a little higher when we release our actual polls. My brother Thirst um, got some stuff to do. Life been life and for the entire panel. But we all will be getting together as a panel soon after some OTAs and things and some roster updates, and be releasing our preseason polls. But y'all be on the lookout for Newton County, man. I think they're gonna be a little higher than what we have here.
Obadiah says number 5 might be embarrassed this year, but let me hush. Lakeisha is surprised that Buford is at number 2.
Buford really didn't have an offense last year, but had a hell of a defense and returned damn near everything except KJ Bolden.
Man, they got the top 4 linebackers in the state on one team.
In the state.
Y'all just don't defense win championships, offense sells tickets. But all they gotta do, offense, just all Buford offense gotta do is put up some production to help the defense rest a little bit. But the one team, it's 2 teams on here. Me personally, number 9 Camden, replace them with Parkview. I think Parkview is going to surprise a lot of people this year.
Okay.
I like what Parkview is showing right now down at Georgia Tech, to be honest with you.
But here's the thing that bothered me about Parkview.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of their best players are now playing on other rosters.
Keyword, some of their best players. Not key best players.
They're top players.
But they're looking real good. They're looking real good right now, quarterback and receiver for sure. From what I've seen, from what they're doing down at Georgia Tech right now, the 7-on-7 at Georgia Tech. And I'm not sure about the running game because that's really not on display at these 7-on-7s. But the passing game is looking real nice right now.
So, how was their defense last year?
Who's that, Parkview?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit! It was an Achilles heel. They gotta fix that for sure. But like I say, I know what Camden did last year.
Respect the position, but then
Hello.
Yeah, I get what Camden did last year. And you have to understand what they did last year had influence on why they're in the top 10 right now and way too early.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Valdosta. Those are 2 teams that we got to take serious looks at going into our preseason poll for sure.
Dwayne said he heard Valdosta looks good. And he's
Valdosta
down there in
have Valdosta had one of the best quarterbacks in this class.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not gonna argue with you yet. All I know is the best quarterback in this 2025 class is Juju. And Hill.
Hands down. Juju. But AJ Hill, I love him. I look at them like family now. Dad is a long-time listener of the show. Support the show. But at this point, my top 3 are Juju, Luke Nickel, and then AJ Hill.
The guy from Milton.
Yeah.
Okay.
We talking about quarterbacks?
Bear down. What's going on, Antoine? Yeah, we talking about quarterbacks.
Okay.
Are we talking about? We just talking about over this overall. We're not just talking about in particular divisions. Okay. Let me go back up to a quote. And Tick made about with your statement with regard to Brooks kind of playing with a chip on their shoulders. Tick says angry play doesn't equate to a good play. I just wanted to, before we got down too far, Lakeisha says Juju is bad, but y'all keep watching our J baby. Okay. Since you see what Dwayne said, get him.
Looking right at it. I don't got time for that. Don't mention Thomasville. You got your clock on a little too early. Just hold on.
Bam. Let's see. Obadiah said that number one was scared to play in that 6A classification, but again, let me hush.
Which one? Who is Obadiah speaking on?
You talking about Carrollton?
Carrollton is in 6A.
No, he's saying they were scared to play. No, he's saying number one on 5A was scared to play in 6A. He talking about Milton, I assume. He said they were scared to play in 6A.
Obadiah, I think that's a little bitterness that's coming out right there. Let's be real. Thomas County Central are the state champions, returning state champions of 5A. Well, 6A dropped down. Am I correct?
Yes.
Milton. Yeah, I think Milton with Luke Nickel will probably be pushing for another state championship. Now, granted, I did say depends on how the brackets favor, because y'all brackets are still the same. 3A on down have a different bracket system this year. I would like to see Milton and Thomas County Central for the state championship. But if that do happen, I like Milton. And I'm talking about by a lot.
Really?
Babe, you watch that huddle. I don't know if I said that Luke Nickel is something serious that's not getting the notarized. He's not being notarized like AJ and like Juju.
He doesn't have the same notoriety. That's true.
And granted, I don't tell you nothing because AJ Hill and Juju are some great, I'm talking about stud quarterbacks. Again, Thomas County Central has a stud quarterback. I'm not taking anything away from him. But y'all better go and watch Luke Nickel play if you hadn't seen him play.
Throwing them passes like Michael Penix.
Dropping dimes.
Dropping dimes.
Keisha said, you sound bitter, yo. Milton by a lot. Okay.
Well, Miss Keisha, I just say this like I always said. Hold that receipt, baby. See what it looked like at the end of the year.
And he does not mind eating crow.
I do not mind eating crow, especially when it comes to Thomas County Central.
He lived before. What's going on?
Your dad did, didn't he? Shout out Coach, man. What Coach been up to for the spring and stuff?
He been working. He he also coaches track, so they he been busy. I don't really think he's had any time off because according to him, as of yesterday, Thomas County Central is still hungry. So there's that.
What's going on, Antonio? How you doing? Dwayne said he saw Juju in person and he can definitely spin it.
We knew that from the playoff game.
So Obadiah has a question. He said, why do y'all have Coffee County ranked higher than Lee County?
Only because we took in consideration again, Obadiah, some things from last year also. All of that played in factors. Now, again, we will be releasing, once we can all get together and do some research, update rosters and stuff like that, we will be releasing a preseason ranking, and a lot of this will change. But our way too early was really going off of some things in spring, things that was lost, winning championships last year and stuff like that. So with the formula we use, it brought Coffee ahead of Lee County. Me personally, I think Coffee is a 4th seed in that region. With Thomas County Central taking it, Lee and Hoko fighting for 2 because Hoko is making some moves. That's all I'm gonna tell you. If Thomas County went as strong as they are, returning with what they're returning, I would really give it to Hoko because of the moves they're making. But I still think it's Thomas County Central region to lose. But Hoko and Lee will be fighting for 2, with Coffee being 4.
And baby, they are making some moves. You hear me? Let's see. Patrick, welcome, Patrick. He said, didn't Thomas County Central lose their defensive coordinator? Obadiah said apparently they did, but they're getting something much bigger.
And I don't mean to jump ahead of you, babe, but I just read Obadiah's comment about that region.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely in the top 3, Obadiah. Now that's something that because we have, if you know Obadiah, because you are a long time listener, we do kind of designate a region as the toughest region. It's in the top 3. I think that region, the region with Perry, Benedictine, Ware County, Warner Robins, that's a pretty tough region. And in region 1, AA, if I'm not mistaken, where you got Irwin County, you got Brooks County, you got Charlton, some of those regions are pretty tough, but that Thomas County, Central, Hoko, and Lee is definitely in the top 3.
Super competitive. Super competitive.
I'll just say this. It's not Peach County or Cedar Grove region. I can tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit, we know that.
Child, please. Obadiah said Warner Robins was scared too. That's why they jumped out of it when the original list came out. Did Warner Robins opt to play now?
They did.
For what?
They did. And I don't think, me personally, I don't think Warner Robins, and I think it's a little personal issue, and this is just my opinion. I don't know this for facts. I don't think it was fear. I think Warner Robins don't like being in the same classification as Northside, which is their crosstown rival. I mean, anytime Warner Robins and Northside is in the same classification, it don't end well with them. Anytime they're not playing in the classification with and in the region with Northside, they tend to fare well. So I just look back at that over the history of Warner Robins and Northside, and that's just what I came up with. So I don't think it had anything to do with being afraid to play in 6A, because let's be real, you talk about a team that's been running through their respective region and classification the last 7-8 years. So I don't think Warner Robins was afraid to play in that classification. I just think they didn't want to play in the region and the classification with Northside.
Yeah. Chris has a question for you, yo. He said, why is the team that TCC Monkey stumped in the championship game ahead of Coffee? Again, I don't think you were on here when we discussed it, Chris. And what's going on? What's going on, Mr. Robert? Again, this is the way too early poll, and so for right now, what we do is we look at the rosters and what was lost, and what's coming back based on the rosters. Okay.
So who did y'all play in the championship game? Was it Woodward?
No, Coffee County played. County played
no,
Creekside. TCC played. Yeah, they played Woodward Academy.
Here's the thing to the answer to that question. When we put these rankings out, I heard so many Coffee County fans saying, we got somebody coming up that's gonna be just as good as. And I told them, I gotta stand up and clap for my panel members, Shakira, Mike, Jess. We all talked about what Thompson had in a special player. And when they lost that special player, we heard the Thompson faithful talk about, we got one just as good as him. Just as good as Curry. Am I right, panel?
Yep, prove it. Prove it.
You got to prove that. Let this guy come up and show that he's better than Fred Brown. And let us look at what he has done in his production and things like that over this summer. And when we release our preseason rankings, Coffee may be higher than that. But again, when you lost 80% of your offense in one man, 2,200-yard rusher, if I'm not mistaken, maybe Coffee fans can correct me if I'm wrong, that's big. And if you got just as much talent as that to replace him with, y'all need to fire y'all coach, because he should have had both of them on the field at the same time.
He said Tank would get. How do you say that? But remember that name. So he must have been on JV last year or something, or 10th grade. Dwayne says he's never heard of Kennesaw Mountain.
Huh?
Keep listening. Keep listening.
Okay.
He said, "Oh, Tank was supplant year."
Huh?
Yeah. Translate that for me, Chris, because I don't know what that means. But yes,
Maybe he
y'all
was
have.
saying suspended.
Oh, he was
Yeah.
suspended
Yeah.
last year.
Okay. So
Oh,
again, Chris, you just answered your own question. We don't know anything about Tank. You know, Tank may be the next, if not better than Fred Brown. So again, I once stood on and had to go every week with my brother about coffee. I knew what you had in Fred Brown. I knew that coffee would be facing and fighting for a championship this year. Check my receipts. I said coffee should fight for a state championship this year. So I know what you all had down there, but you lost a lot of production. And if Tank can replace that, I tip my cap to you. Y'all would definitely work y'all way up in the polls and be fighting for a championship again. But until we get something on Tank, you know, this is what we had to go by.
and then I'm looking at the graduation picture, the Coffee County graduation picture. That was a lot of babies in that picture, and I know they weren't all starters, but I'm just saying that was a lot of babies in that picture. Sean,
Sean is crazy.
welcome to the podcast, Sean.
Tomatoes.
Shout out Tumerville.
Tomatoes. Okay. He said, "True, I understand. I just know no one knew about Tank." Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what he can do.
And just for the Thomas County Central and Coffee County faithfuls who has an issue with Milton, I spoke when I just said about Luke Nickel, right? Everybody heard that. There's a school about 15 minutes south of Milton High School. It's called Alpharetta High School. Alpharetta High School had one of the top stud tight ends in the country. You know why I say they had? Check the roster. He's on Milton roster now. You just gave Luke Nickel another weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And you heard me and my brother talk about that tight end from Alpharetta all last year. And now he's on Milton's roster. So, again, if y'all think you're better than Milton, just let it show through the season and we'll definitely rank you accordingly.
And guess what? If you do outplay Milton, doesn't it make that "I told you so" that much sweeter?
Exactly. Don't I have Coach tell it Shakira to let the podcast panel know what it is all over again?
For sure.
Heck no.
Sean says every team talks about how good their kids are. Every team is loaded. Every team is full of Bama commits until the season starts.
That's the point. I mean, let's be real, Sean. I actually heard you make a post when we talked about the 3A ranking, and I'm sure we'll get to those soon. But in that ranking, we felt accordingly, or where we had a certain team, and you said you didn't see them even being that high, and they wasn't even in the top 10. Just as an honorable mention, I go to their practice every day throughout the spring. I know what's out there, but do I know if that's going to translate over to the season? Do I know if that's what? No, I got to go by what I got to go by the stats. A lot of these kids hadn't even suited up in a varsity uniform. So just because I see that with my eyes and I can say, okay, they're going to be good, I didn't feel it was necessary or right to rank them in the top 10. If they're going to show what they're showing at spring practice, then they'll be ranked accordingly. But for our way too early and probably our preseason ranking, they won't be in the top 10. And that's my school I graduated from. So,
yep. So, y'all look at 4A. What do y'all have to say about 4A?
probably will be the best classification this year. We know in 5A, we just spoke about that region 1 may be in the top 3, if not the toughest region in Georgia football. We know that. But when it comes for a classification as a whole, 4A, 2A, I think they got 5A beat. Anybody on the panel agree or disagree with that?
I think it's a fair assessment.
I can't disagree with it. That's for sure.
I think that's a fair assessment. T says it looks pretty accurate. Sean says exactly. The pads make all the difference, especially when the other team has on pads and the clock is running.
There it is.
I mean, my dad used to always say, he said, you don't know what a kid's gonna do. You can't, like, when the people used to bet on high school kids and what they're gonna do. He was like, these kids don't know what they're gonna do in the next 5 minutes, much less 48 minutes in a football game. You just don't know until they get there.
Shout out the great Doc Abrams, man.
That's right. Let's see. Dwayne says unranked Creek. He said unranked Creekside. They're gonna get embarrassed in Texas. Can't be no worse than when they went to California.
I think it may be a little worse because I don't think Creekside this year will be as strong as Creekside last year. Yeah, you went out there and played the number 1 team in the nation, but guess what? If I'm not mistaken, again, maybe somebody can fact check this and correct me. I think DeSoto was the only team that beat them last year. Didn't DeSoto beat
Mater Day?
Mater Day and knock them out that number 1 spot?
I don't know. I have to go back to see, but I know DeSoto is nothing to play with. What's the other one? Is it Brownville? Somewhere in Brownsville?
Oh, in Texas, yeah, but
yeah.
All I know is this. I don't know who Creekside coach is, but if I'm a parent in the South, Fulton area, I'm mad in the mud. You ain't gonna keep exposing my kids like that.
Going over there bothering them folk.
All the people you ain't got no business bothering.
Yup. It's I mean, and it's demoralizing too. You got to get back on that plane and got monkey stump. Let's see. Lakeisha says Benedictine gives her a headache because they beat the Mario coins out of us. They're well disciplined and conditioned. Yes, they are. And one thing about it, Benedictine feels like the fans that I've talked to, they are very, very upset because they feel that they were cheated out of that game in Stockbridge. They say they feel that they were cheated and that they should have been playing for the state championship. So they are very, very, they are on a mission this year. So it's going to be interesting. Chris says he likes Warner Robins for 4A, but what if the Benedictine and Marist end up going against each other in the finals?
I think the Benedictine cadets understand that they have an advantage over private schools. Shout out Paul Wilson, come in while I say that.
Hey Paul. And hey Ricky. That's right, it's Duncanville, Texas. That's it. DeSoto and Duncanville.
See, Benedictine was placed in 3A, which means they would have been in the private playoffs. They appeal to go up to 4A because I think they know they have an advantage over the public schools and didn't want to play where I think the playing field would have been a little even for them. Now, the fact that Marist is still in 4A will kind of be a team that you can kind of say will even the playing field against Benedictine. But I agree with Chris. It's a lot of public schools in 4A. Warner Robins may be one. They do have a stud in the defensive end, USC commit, and a couple of good move ins. I'll just say that. But
It's a military town, people. It's a military town.
but don't sleep on Perry. That's returning a stud in the running back, a stud on the wide receiver. Got a stud at the linebacker position, a stud on the defensive lineman. These are kids that made an impact on their state championship teams that was juniors that will return for their senior season. So don't sleep on Perry. Ware was young. I think the quarterback getting a notch under his belt may be a little better this year. The team that I think in that region and in that classification that will be slept on and it will be deservedly so is Wayne County. You know, Wayne County lost a stud in a running back, South Carolina commit, and I just don't see them being able to replace that type of production that Fuller gave them. So it'll be an interesting thing in 4A. I think any team in 4A, not any team, but it's a handful of teams in 4A outside of the privates that can possibly be holding the championship up this year.
Sean says he's not sold on North Oconee and Perry. And he said, also, I don't think that Marist gives up 100 points in 4A this year. They're the team to beat, in his opinion.
I can agree with that. I can agree. Marist will be tough. And that's why I said I can see them with the Benedict team. Woodward Academy is another one. I think they're in 5A. But just those private schools that's playing up, that's going to still be playing in the public school playoffs, they still have that advantage, man.
Obadiah says he's still trying to figure out why that number 2 was allowed, why Marist was allowed to drop down. Or did they ask to drop down, or were they dropped down on their own? They made a petition to drop down? I didn't know that.
That I do not know.
Let's see. Tick says, okay, preacher man. Tick says DeSoto is going to crucify Creekside and lay them in a borrowed tomb.
Took us straight to church on Easter Sunday morning.
Yes, he did. Amen to that.
Okay. Dwayne wants to know, is Perry returning those running backs?
Yes, both.
Paul says no, Benedictine. They didn't cheat. They just got their ass whipped. Okay, and you know what, Paul? You are the first one that I've heard say that they weren't cheated. He said, Sean said he told somebody that football in California and Texas are different kind of smoke. Our homegrown and even recruited teams don't compare to those teams on the field. I'll pull for Georgia teams, but reality is undefeated. Let's see.
I wouldn't go that far, Sean, but I understand what you're saying.
I mean, I know, especially in Texas. I mean, they take football so seriously.
It's not. It's along the line of the stuff that I speak of when we talk about the IMGs and the Florida. You know, in Florida, they don't have a zone school system.
Mm-mm.
Like, I don't give a damn if you live in Tallahassee. If you can get your kid to a school in Tampa, he can play. Like, all that bona fide move and things that Georgia have, those places don't have that.
Mm-mm. So
it's easy to build these type teams. When you talk about Duncanville and you talk about DeSoto and stuff like that, those kids want to play for those schools. Those kids want to play for those teams. Those parents want their kids on their team, i.e. Buford. Now, we do have teams right there in the Buford area that compete with Buford every day, every year. But imagine if those players, imagine if you took the best players around the state of Georgia. I stand on this, and I admit I may be a little biased to it. If you took the best talent around the state of Georgia and put them on one school, I don't think it's a school in the country that can beat a team coming out of Georgia, combining those type athletes.
At the very least, they'll be in the conversation. Let's see. Let me go back and read. Let me see. Let's see. Chris says number 3, RJ Boyd for Ware County is back this year.
Is that
And
the quarterback? Give us some information on Mr. Wilson. Mr. Wilson, give us some information on Mr. Boyd.
no, that's Mr. Pace. Chris.
Oh, I'm
Mr.
sorry.
Wilson, yeah. Mr. Wilson says Warner Robins just got our defensive coordinator, Logan Winkles. Okay, and
God
where is he from?
almighty. That might hurt y'all. You said that. You said, Antonio, you said that got toe with some.
Gato, man,
Like it
yeah.
means something.
Where's Antonio? Who's your team? Who you represent? What's your set, fool? Robert wants to know who's the Perry Panthers quarterback. That's a good question, Mr. Robert. It's 1 of 3.
1 of 3. You're looking at Reed Ginn, who's the younger brother of last year's Coulter Ginn quarterback. You're looking at Cullins, who was the quarterback that won 4 games, even including a playoff game, 5 games last year, if I'm not mistaken, even a playoff game for the Panthers when Coulter Ginn went down. And you got a rising sophomore that I personally think will probably end up being a starter. A lot of my Perry folks don't agree with that, but
what's his name? Murray? Is it
Mari?
Okay, yeah. Oh Lord, Obadiah. He said we still talking about Scary Perry. I'm moving on. Yes, Tick, you can play anywhere you want to in Florida. Patrick says that bona fide move stuff only exists in South Georgia.
Nah, I kind of agree with that. Well, Middle Georgia down to South Georgia. I'd say that, Mr. Clemens.
Yeah. Chris says number 3 Boyd is a running back for Ware. Sean says it would take the very best players in Georgia to be competitive in California. The saying goes, demographics is destiny. California and Texas and Florida have a significant demographic edge on Georgia.
I can kind of agree with that when you speak of the demographics.
Sheer numbers,
but again,
sheer volume.
One thing that you said, which is what don't lie. So when you look at the fact that Georgia is pumping out talented NFL players and colleges all across the country, you know, I know California, Texas, and Florida may have more at this point, but when you go by per capita, yeah, I think Georgia's still the best.
My friend rolling his eyes. Why you rolling your eyes, Mr. Eddie? Welcome, Eddie Gary. Welcome, friend. Why you rolling your eyes? Let us know.
I know what it's gonna be about. Probably about Obadiah with that Scary Period comment.
Oh, I forgot about that. Jeremy says Sandy Creek must have gotten a load of athletes this year. Oh, Antonio, you're Upson Lee. Okay. I remember that now. What?
Shot fired.
That's it. He said what he said. Let me go. So let's answer this question. Did Sandy Creek get a load of athletes this year? Have they been making noise in the transfer portal?
Nah. The Sandy Creek they ain't never returned everything they had, including this stud running back who may be the second best running back in the state.
Miss Lakeisha says Cedar Grove should be number 1.
In what?
In what?
In what?
Not at this time. Not at this moment in time.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it's kind of going off rosters and what was lost and all that. And with the new coaching change and, you know.
Hey, but that preacher man is. Hey, I knew I like you from the first time Jessica introduced me to you, man. I knew I like you.
Obadiah.
No.
Talking about Tick.
Oh.
That's a pastor.
You see what y'all supposed to be number one in?
Horseshoe. Close.
Hey, we about to win that EA Sports title. We taking that from South Georgia.
Yeah.
She said, I think Cedar Grove played well and had a good run that they did. And
yeah, they gonna be doing a little walking this time, baby. No more running.
Baby, they ran. They rent. They rent to where they were going. So what do y'all think about this 3A? Chris, more than likely not. The question, the Grove takes 3A again.
In Wood. You talking about Miller Grove? What Grove you talking about? Logan Grove? What Grove you talking about?
Walnut Grove.
Walnut Grove?
Okay, let's see. Sean says, I haven't seen the brackets, but 3A Final Four for me is Calhoun, Sandy Creek, Cairo, and Spalding.
Okay, now, Sean, I got to ask you. Ian Wood. I'll stand on this. You don't have to worry about the brackets because it's a new system they supposed to be running this year from 3A down. It'll be more like a March Madness type thing or something. You talk about top seeds playing lower seeds and things like that.
First round bye for the region champs.
Yeah, first round bye for the region champs and stuff like that. So you don't have to worry about that. It should play out where the best four teams should see each other in the semis. And I can tell you one thing, that list you just gave, you say 3A football, tackle football. I wonder there you got confused with flag.
I don't see Spalding, especially, with what they lost and how they lost their coach. I don't see it.
The quarterback, the defensive lineman that they lost.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out my little cousin, man. Xavier Gary, man. Had him on skates all night. But I don't think Spalding gonna even be competitive.
Yeah, I don't either. Keisha has a question. She said, "Is Cairo getting all this hype because they got a 9th grade 4-star QB? But what has he proven really? No, this
hyping
list was made before that we even knew that. So that
Cairo, if we at that list, Cairo not even on there.
On the list.
Yeah, they made honorable mention, and that was only because of what they did last year, being a playoff team, and what they returned. They returned majority of those kids that was on that team last year. So you expect a year under their belt, they will be better. The honorable mentions are just saying, hey, these are teams that could crack into the top 10 once the season starts. So Cairo will probably be a top 10 team. You look at a lot of these teams like Stevenson, Spalding, again, those was 4A, LaGrange, those was 4A schools that made playoff runs that's returning some kids and came down to 3A. So the early preseason ranking, 2 early rankings, they made the top 10. But once rosters are updated and things like that, a lot of these teams may not even be on there. And Cairo might just well make the top 10.
Mm-hmm. Perhaps. Lamont says Cairo has some young talented stars, and this is before the freshmen arrived.
Well, we definitely agree with that, Lamont. We saw what you was returning from last year playoff run, and we knew that those kids will be a year older and can probably put it together. So we definitely agree with that.
Yeah, you'll probably be pretty tough.
Stevenson, Sean, that comment alone is hilarious because I thought there was only one team that can compete with Cedar Grove in the region, and that was Stevenson. But at this point, I'll go out on a limb, and I don't think I even have to go that far out on a limb because it shouldn't be too many people that'll disagree with me. That region, it belongs to Stevenson. Cedar Grove got to play catch up.
Ooh. That's a good one. We keeping this receipt here.
The girl said don't count them out yet now.
I already told you 6 and 4 and running through the region, buddy. I already told you that.
I don't know how to count.
Okay, no problem. I'm gonna get you a receipt. I'm gonna get you a receipt machine like Ant-Man got in that Adidas commercial.
Sean said Stevenson will send 38 kids to college, but still get put out in the second round. And he's kind of got a point because in DeKalb County at one point it was Southwest DeKalb, right? And they got a championship out of it. And then Tucker, they got some championships. When it was Stevenson's turn, I mean they were good, but they could just never get over
that hump, did they?
No, and I don't understand what it was because they didn't have a bad coach, I don't think. But I don't know. Sean said he doesn't disagree with you, but they're still good for a first or second round exit every year. Mr. Robert said, who would see the girl quarterback? Baby, we've been asking this question since damn January, and I don't know.
You will find out when the season starts. I already know who it is.
Mr. Robert, I'll tell you like this.
Mr. Robert, that's where we are with it. We've been asking.
He's not on Cedar Grove roster. I just tell you that.
His name is it'll get dropped in August.
I heard that.
Okay.
They'll update the rosters before August, so we'll know.
Chris says Cedar Grove always finds a way.
Well, I think they don't turn the lights out. They can't find their way in the dark right now.
No. The name, hey, good dope is still selling itself.
Tick say y'all are the pixie dust.
That's a good one right there.
Y'all.
Hey, Real, you're gonna have to come spread some holy water on the swamps of Ellenwood right now.
That's what you're gonna have to do. When he when Mike come through on I-16, we're gonna pull him off. We're gonna meet him downtown, Tick. We're gonna put some water.
No.
Get your oil ready. I got
no. I might burst in the flames.
Yeah, I believe so.
No. Let me read this real quick, and then we can go on to 2A, which is really interesting to me. Sean says Stevenson's 2A is very interesting to me. Sean Wee says Stevenson's coach played a lot of kids to get them on film and get them into college. I know a lot of parents who complain about this. They put a lot of kids in college, though, which is good. Ricky said Stevenson's issue was getting out coached, especially in higher classifications in football. I can agree with that, Ricky.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Okay. And
he'll watch Mike in the blood.
He said he'll cover you in prayer. So let's get to 2A. I think 2A is going to be a tough classification too. What do y'all have to say about it?
All I know is them top 11. I'm throwing them top 11. And when I say top 11, I'm throwing Hebron Christian in there just for giggles right now, because Columbia and Spencer does.
Oh no! I take Spencer over Hebron Christian.
Okay.
Now this what I will say. 7, 8, 9. Not sold on 10 yet. Don't know what they got returning. We hadn't done our homework on them. As far as a roster change, we know what they got returning from last year. But as far as a roster change and whatnot, but 6, 7, 8, and 9 are four teams that you can be seeing at the end of the year playing for the championship.
I think I saw somebody say Cook County was very young this year. Did they lose a lot? They didn't lose a lot.
No.
Okay, I must have read it wrong. So, and this is, listen, I when I asked this question, Y'all, I promise I'm not throwing shade. I am really, really interested. What does Crisp County have coming back?
Absolutely nothing.
Watermelons.
Watermelons and rocket ships.
Nothing.
Absolutely
And
nothing.
chocolate chip cookies. Cannot forget the cookies.
Y'all are savage. Y'all are savages.
You
Um,
knew. That's why you gave a disclaimer before you asked the question.
because I know how y'all gonna be, but I really am serious about that. I'm concerned because I think them moving from 3A to 2A might benefit them. That's why I asked the
He
question.
would.
No, in what?
Obviously not. They ain't on this
Not
list.
not in, not in football.
Not in
Not in football.
football.
Listen, I just asked, guys. So let me see. Okay, so
The
Tick says
Keisha
give
say they
me
bringing a
Spencer
crispy
instead of
chicken
Carver
sandwich.
Columbus. Carver, y'all hear that? Oscar, J-Bo, where y'all at? Tick said he takes Spencer over Carver Columbus.
Not the basketball season, real.
CJ said Cook Hornets will have a new quarterback. The trash can, Adasia, I'm thinking you're talking about Chris, so I'm going to move on. Chris says with that quarterback returning for Pierce, they could take it again. Possibly Pierce versus Cook on my way to early finals pick for the championship game.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick.
That's a good pick. And here's the thing. I didn't really know anything about Pierce County's quarterback until he didn't start really getting any notoriety, at least outside of Southeast Georgia, until like the end of November and December. I didn't really know anything about this young man. And then when you go back and you look at his numbers and stuff, you're like, wow. So he was silently kind of doing whatever he was doing. But I can agree. I can agree with this. Lakeisha. She said Chris bringing back a crispy chicken sandwich.
Big crispy.
Yeah, this ain't me, Chris. You know, y'all swear I hate you, but
They know the vibe.
Me. So Obadiah says, "Will Cook County move the needle?" I think y'all answered that question.
Like a Richter scale.
Let's see. Brooks over Pierce. Dwayne says, "Y'all play Brooks County? I mean, y'all play Pierce County." Dwayne, I didn't know that. Sean says, "Amazing how Burke's enrollment dropped enough to get to 2A from 4A. This may give Coach Stevens a legit chance to shine this year." Jeremy says, "We're bringing in transfers, but it doesn't make a difference if we can't produce on the field." Where are these transfers coming from? I'm just curious. Is it coming from like Jessup? Are they coming from
mine?
Are they coming from Reedsville?
His imagination.
And what are the contributing factors to not being able to produce on the field, Jeremy?
Coach Crow.
He said they got one from Cook County.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Dwayne says Pierce County over anybody. I mean, Bear says Pierce County over anybody. Welcome, nephew. Tick says we played both, and Spencer was the better team. Northeast owns Carver Columbus. Dwayne says we don't allow all that running. Sean says this Pierce quarterback has flown under the radar like the kid from Monroe area a few years ago.
Yeah,
I agree. Let's see. Ricky has a question. He said, "Will MacArthur from Pierce County be able to perform another 2000 season?" What do y'all think about that?
I mean, he's athletically talented. I don't think so this year only because of the classification moves. you're gonna have a lot of 3A teams and a 4A team in Burke County. I don't know what their region look like or their outer region games look like, but if you're going up against teams in 4A that's in your 3A in your region now, that are stout against the run, I don't think he would be able to perform like that. Like that's stupid. That's ridiculous numbers, man. Shout out to that kid that put that kind of numbers up. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it did it quietly. He like a silent assassin. Like he did it real quiet. Let's see. Jeremy said they got one from Cook County. Okay. And Barry says Pierce County will have the biggest line in 2A. Okay. It's gonna, like I said, 2A is probably one of the most out of the classifications, is one of the top classifications out of all of them. I think it's very interesting and very competitive. Okay. So we're at 1A D1. What do y'all think about this panel and podcast land?
I see no problem here.
Of course you don't.
There's one team, and I think they made a mention of it once the rankings was released, is that Commerce, who should have been honorable mention at least. But when we looked at Commerce and Rabin and Elbert County and stuff, we went with Rabin and Elbert over Commerce. A lot of these other teams that was returning some core nucleus of people and stuff, is the reason why they stuck into the rankings in Commerce then. But I wouldn't be surprised Commerce won't work their way in the top 10 before the season is over with.
Okay.
Ooh, I just thought about something. On that what was it, 3A? We forgot about that school in Augusta in 3A.
Yeah, we did learn, because I don't know, GHSA is reporting two different things. They have our guy that come on with the show, where he's from, the private school,
Aquinas.
Aquinas.
Yeah.
Aquinas. They have Aquinas in 3A on some things, and then they have them on 2A and some things. So, or single A division 1. So we don't know quite yet where Aquinas really is located. So I got a question that was just posed. This question is from Mike. My boy E-Team said, Mike, what do Cedar Grove have coming from the middle school?
Okay, so
what's the question? I was on the elevator. What's the question?
What do Cedar Grove have coming up from the middle school?
Dogs.
Thirsty has spoken.
No, I said dogs. Oh, y'all can't hear me?
Yeah,
we heard. Now here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Poodle is a dog too now.
No, say you got some mutts or you got some pits.
Shit, we got some pit bulls. We got some Rottweilers.
Okay, I believe you. Okay, so let me say. Okay, so what's going on, Rodriguez? Welcome back, friend. Ricky says Rabin County will be sectionally good again.
What do you mean by sectionally count? That don't sound right.
I guarantee you. I guarantee you, when he break it down, it's gonna make a lot of sense.
Well, maybe that was
that man is smart. Ricky is very, very smart.
Okay.
I'm just telling you what I know. I ain't telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. Now, Dwayne says Northeast Macon's running back is going to be back this season. Yes. Tick, let me ask you this. Since we're talking about that, yes, Nick will probably be back, and he is a great running back. So I don't know if y'all know, but earlier this week, a kid from Northeast made the decision to move from Northeast to Warner Robins, and he will be heading to Hoko. So, Tick, I want to know what you think, or how do you think that's going to affect Northeast team?
Just know that the rail hell struck again.
What do you say?
We'll
Oh
see
my
what we
God,
do.
I see it. I see it. I see it. I see it. I'm gonna get down there. I'm gonna get down there. Uh, uh, Bear says Toombs is returning everybody, so he likes them to win it all. Um, Danny says Savannah Christian will not be ranked at the top because when they play a real good team, they choke or look to the referee for help. Chris says Northeast Macon should be good this year. Nick Wolford is back this year, and Toombs County is his sleeper. Danny says Swainsboro will win the state championship.
Okay, let me just stop right there before you get to the real thing. Comment on some of these. Good assessment, Danny, on the Savannah Christian thing. I'm sorry, I might still have a little pain from last year, but I'm gonna agree with you on that. I gotta disagree with you with Toombs kind of being a sleeper, only because we know now. Last year that would have been a great assessment, but Toombs is definitely on the map. And again, you see them in the rankings because I agree with Barry. They return a core of their nucleus, and it's gonna be exciting down in Vidalia, Georgia. But a sleeper, nah, they could be all out favorites right now. They're beyond the sleeper point. Danny Jones saying Swainsboro, nah.
Nah.
DeMello Jones.
You don't just duplicate DeMello Jones. I mean,
yeah,
it could be his brother, but you just can't duplicate that. You just can't. He's a special kid. Oh, my boy, he said Cedar Grove got a kennel full of Yorkies and pugs. Speaking of pugs, I want a pug so bad. They are so expensive.
I'll get you a pug, baby.
Well, thank you. I asked my okay, I'm gonna be quiet. That was a long time ago. I'm moving on. But I really want one. Ricky says they're sectionally good because they can't get past the quarterfinals. So
Make a lot of sense.
when they're sectionally good, they can get to a certain
Make a lot of sense because Sean spoke of Stevenson, but let's think Rabun County have had studs. I'm talking about top wide receiver a couple of years ago playing with Gunnar Stockton. And I think the wide receiver was only good because Gunnar Stockton really was good. But that kid that man almost broke the state record in receiving yards. Like, it was ridiculous.
But what did they do, though? They went down to Thomasville.
Exactly. That's the point that I'm talking about. So I agree with what Ricky is saying on that. They had some exceptional talent up there, be looking good all year, and just can't get over that hump of that quarterfinal. So that's a good assessment, Ricky.
He also came back to say they get destroyed by the southern teams, i.e. Brooks County and Swainsboro, but he forgot Thomasville. Well, now he just put it, but
he made amends for that, baby. He definitely made amends because Thomasville did thump him.
Baby, they did them good. They did them in. What's going on, Lee? Danny says Swainsboro and Savannah Christian will play for the championship. Nah.
No, they won't. No, they won't.
Tick says we will be fine. Danny says the sleeping team to watch out for is Blakely County.
Yeah, I can see that. Blakely will be a force to reckon with this year.
But aren't they sectionally good too? Like
Danny,
later.
I'm sorry, babe. I just want to say Savannah Christian will never be able to play Swainsboro for the next 3 years in the championship, Danny. They will be planning their own private championship. So
yes, and they could probably win that. So, like I said, when you get down here, it from 2A down, our polls are what they are, but you're gonna have
3A.
two different playoff systems.
3A.
Nick Lee says if Nick Wolford is Northeast, will be a force to be reckoned with. Yeah. But he's still coming off an ACL injury, and it takes a while for those to heal. So we'll see how much he plays.
And real quick, this is your opinion. This is not the opinion of Friday Night Lights football. Tick, Rail, I know you all Northeast. If I'm that kid's father, You is not finna run my child no 30, 40 times a game the first couple of games. He coming off of all of those ligament tears in his knee. I've seen the kid working out in this off season, and that man is a man. If you
Mhm.
17 or if you 30, you a man. I'm letting y'all know, Nick Wolford is a man. But I would not be letting my kid get ran in the ground after coming off that serious injury that he came off of.
Mhm. Um, Bear says Worth County is returning everyone as well. And Raven, I mean, Tick agreed with his frat brother. Raven cannot win in the South. Um, Obadiah says, out of everyone in your top 10, what team do y'all think won't make the playoffs? I think they'll all make the playoffs.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Thomasville walked the dog with Raven. Yes, they did. Shame what they did to that dog. And then it also says Fitzgerald is not going to be that good this season. What do y'all think of that? Y'all buying or selling?
I'm selling that. I'm selling that. Don't be surprised. And it's not okay. The Fitzgerald and Thomasville game. Okay, first off, let's understand one thing. We have Thomasville as an honorable mention team. Don't we're not sleeping on Thomasville. We know coming down from 3A playoff team in 3A that they will be a force to reckon with in single A. 2A? Single A. Okay,
Single
with
A
that,
D1.
yeah, with that being said, Fitzgerald, Thomasville, Brooks County, Irwin County, teams like that down in South Georgia, they found a way to win. Fitzgerald will be okay. Fitzgerald will make the playoffs. Fitzgerald will be a team to reckon with. I won't speak on Fitzgerald and Thomasville right now because I did say that'll be a good game, and we praying everything be good when our sister have to travel up there to play them.
Baby,
But
I'm be praying so hard.
but just know
Send one
Fitzgerald
up
will
for
be
me, T.
okay too.
All right.
You got the right
Send up
man.
2 rounds. Send up 2.
Personal relationship with him. He can get us in there.
Can I to answer that? I'm buying simply because I've read and just heard speculation that Fitzgerald is young this year. I don't really know what they're returning, but I've heard that they're young, very young.
Mhm. Barry agrees with you. He said Fitzgerald ain't it. Let's see. Lee says he wouldn't run him 30 or 40 times anyway, coming off of ACL. Tick says Wolford is a man child, but we're not plumb dumb. Wolford is a beast, but he has a future after Northeast.
Thank you. That's the point I'm talking about.
Obadiah says, who y'all got one in the region? Which one? Which region, Obadiah? And Danny says Thomasville will make some noise and win some games, but that they should not win this season. That's what he said. Okay. And Tick said he got you, sis.
I sure appreciate that, Pastor.
Bear says Pierce beat Fitzgerald by 40. Just let that sink in. Well, thank you, Lee. We appreciate you.
See, I was gonna comment on your thing. You biased to that. You know what I mean? Like, let's just be real. Beating Fitzgerald by 40 don't mean Fitzgerald would not be a good team. You had a stud of a team last year. You had a quarterback that had record-setting season, one for the ages. That has nothing to do with what Fitzgerald was and what Fitzgerald will be this year.
Mm-hmm. Tick says a disciplined defense wins in Fitzgerald all day.
All the time. That's the
We'll
point.
see.
So we shall see. Now, why they put this in my bag? Oh, I'm sorry. Hi, Jim Keller. Keller, how are you? He said, were these rankings done before the boy from Northeast Macon transferred? Yes, sir, they
Yes,
were.
sir, it was.
Oh Lord, here we go. Well, I don't know because I've never played it. Well, yeah, we did. We played at Fitzgerald when I was in high school, but I ain't gonna tell you when I graduated from high school. That ain't none of y'all business. The refs helped Fitzgerald win at home. That's it. Okay,
They didn't help him when we was there.
Mm.
they
I
could.
know. Hey, I know Northeast went down and beat them last year or not the year before. So I mean, they don't help them down at home if they've been getting that butt spanked.
Mm-hmm. You heard what he said. He said, "Go on in there and win, and then watch for the speed traps." Um. So Obadiah says, so if this list was to make it to the playoffs, including the honorable mentions, who will win the state title? Well, this list is going to be different simply because you're gonna have two lists. Because whatever private schools are on there are not going, like Savannah Christian and Fellowship Christian, they're not gonna be on here.
St. Francis will not be on.
Francis will not be on here. So out of those,
I don't know about Thirst or my sisters on the panel, EP, even shout out my boy Dro in his absence, man. Y'all continue to pray for our EP. Y'all continue to pray for Dro, Shakira, Mike, man. Y'all can continue to pray for our panel. Life have been lifing with us here recently, and we thank y'all for y'all prayers. Now, with that being said, I don't know when they will be releasing, but I will be releasing my preseason favorites for regions and championship matchups. I will not pick a winner for a championship, but I will pick the matchups, and that will be coming late July, the start of August.
mm-hmm. Let's see. Lee has a question. What are y'all thoughts on mere person playing a Canada team, a Canadian
Crazy.
team?
Ain't
I
Ain't
just
got
want to
no
know.
business bothering them folks.
No. Let's be real. I don't know if y'all seen that Canada team. Mayor Person will probably spank them. Do you agree, Thirst? Then we take a look at that team.
Yeah,
Yep.
my question is why? How did this come about?
That's the point. That's just crazy. That's just it's enough football teams right here that you can beat up on. You could have went down there and played Crawford County. Ain't no sense of going up there playing Canada on a team that you gonna probably beat by 30 points with a subpar married person team. Come on, man. Y'all
But I
knew better
tell
than
you
that.
what, if you don't, you can't. When you come back here,
Boy,
baby, we gonna
Do
get
not
y'all
come back across that border.
your head.
don't even come home. Just stay where you at.
If y'all
Jump in Niagara Falls and drown.
if y'all don't go out there being Kendrick Lamar with that team being Drake, do not come back here.
They not like us. That's right. You need to let them know they're not like us. Tick says that transfer was an upcoming sophomore defensive end and linebacker. He's good and will definitely make his presence known at HOCO.
Man, the word is, Tick, that kid stepped on the field this week and should presumably be a starter by the time the season starts. So, yes, he would definitely make an impact. I know that was a big loss to you all, but, yeah, you got to keep fighting. You got to keep going. Now, with that being said, Tick, remind me to get with you a little later because I'm hearing some other stuff behind the scenes that I want to check with you just to make sure.
Lee said the game is in. They're coming here. They're coming to the deep south.
Okay, so now I'm gonna say this: if y'all let them folk come to Georgia and beat y'all in Forsyth, Georgia, y'all need to pack y'all stuff and go back to Canada with them.
Yes.
They will be banned from GSSA.
Yes.
And be hospitable, y'all. Make sure you open up the other concession stand for them folks so they ain't got to walk to Timbuktu.
Yeah, like they did Cedar Grove.
Shit, make them drive through the cemetery.
Or how about
let's be real.
How about y'all? Actually. Okay, I'm gonna be quiet. I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm done.
Let's be real. They're not gonna have too many fans traveling down from Canada.
Still.
to Middle Georgia to watch this team play because I'm telling you, that team ain't it. This ain't DeSoto or Marta Day or none of them.
I
Man,
still like.
they playing Bishop Sycamore.
I'm still trying to figure out who knows who to set this up. Who how did it come to fruition? Like, hey, let's
Everybody,
play a team in Canada, or did people
everybody
in
knows
Canada
somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody.
clearly, or they in Canada say, we want to see how they play American football.
Hey mate,
What team should we play?
hey mate,
There's a
let's
team
go
in
down
Middle
and play
Georgia.
Mary Person, mate.
Yeah, it's hey, they say, hey, let's play Mary Persons, eh?
Hey,
I mean, that's all I want to know. And that's just being nosy, because it's done at this point. I'm just being nosy.
Obadiah, I'll have one of the girls, Jessa, Shakira. I'll get it to them so you can see. It won't be no film. It'll just be their history, man. They last couple of years win and loss records and stuff.
Yeah, Lee says it'll be 35-0 at halftime. Okay, Lee says they play an American team every 4 years.
Well, they gonna go through 10 states before they get down to Georgia. They ain't got no business coming down here. Y'all ain't got no business accepting that invitation.
She said this game is a result of a late night tunk game.
Real strike for the third time tonight.
Welcome to my world, friend. Hey, listen, I'm telling y'all, if y'all ever sit down and have a conversation one-on-one with him and a couple of other folks I know, you'll be up all night laughing. I'm trying to tell you. You'll be up all night. I mean, you will have a ball. So we're getting late in the evening. Can we want to go ahead and look at D2? Oh, they're going to visit Atlanta the week before the game. Okay.
Well, that's what I was going to just announce. We will be releasing Single A Division 2 rankings beginning of this week. We will get with you all next week on those rankings. So Brooks County and Irwin County and Crawford County, y'all might be in the rankings. Macon County, Slide County.
Whoa. Who's that third team? Man, who was that third team you said?
Crawford County, Roberta, Georgia, Knoxville, Georgia. They
I know you fucking lie. And I know it ain't Friday, forgive me, but I know you lie.
Hey, we gotta see what they return. We gotta do our due diligence on Crawford County. They could definitely be in the rankings come next week.
But you done had one of your mama pouches or something.
Hey,
what's going on, Mr. Bird? How are you? Good. I'm glad you came in here.
Yeah.
Because can you let us know what Aquinas classification is? Because they have them listed in different classifications, so we don't know exactly where to put them. Let us know. And yes, Rodriguez, Greene County should definitely be considered.
Definitely. Just know Greene County is in the consideration.
And I know it's hard to believe because he called Crawford County before he called Greene County, but you'll be considered. Oh, he said they're in AAA.
Okay. Yeah. Kind of what we thought. We just weren't sure.
So, okay. So they still will be playing in a separate playoff. Okay. Aquinas moved to AAA. Okay.
Hey, Mr. Bird, I got a question. What they do that for? Because they couldn't win nothing in 2A.
Who, Aquinas?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess their population, they bringing people in. Yeah, she did say what her chest did. She meant that.
It was the feeling that she said it with, like.
God, she couldn't believe that shit either.
Oh, Crawford County.
Patrick said they're going to be in the same region as Harlem, ARC, Augusta. I guess there's Augusta, Richmond, whatever, Christian, Cross Creek, and West Side. Okay, what's going on, Mr. Shields?
Hey man, Mr. Shields, man, I should have reached out to you, man. I was up there for my daughter's graduation on the 22nd. Seeing if you was there, man, maybe we could have got up with each other.
Yeah. Okay. Patrick said they wanted stiffer competition. They wanted traveling, and with the playoff situation, they said, heck, might as well.
That makes sense when you look at it like that. I gotta say, because if you're playing in 3A and you're playing against tough competition, then you get in the playoff with a lot of those
Single
private
A.
schools that's playing in single A and double A. You might have a little edge because you'll be battle tested. So that might be a smart move, Mr. Bird.
That makes sense to me.
Hmm. I agree with you totally, Lee. I won't be voicing those opinions just yet, but I do agree with you totally.
Obadiah, that's something we can answer next week. I'll have to let you know. I do plan to see the Thomas County Central Coffee game, for sure. Depending on my crew, I might go see Fitzgerald in Thomasville, but that's Fort Valley's homecoming, so I don't know.
I can tell you one thing: if we go down there and see the Fitzgerald and Thomasville game, you better believe everything I got in my house going with us. I'm talking about every AR-15, every shotgun, every 9mm, every 40, everything going with us.
You won't need it. You guys are gonna behave.
Mm.
But will the Brown behave? That's the question.
Huh?
If you can, you can hear.
Look,
That'd be
well,
an
anyway,
out-of-body-
speaking of
Hey,
pouches,
that'd be an out of body experience. She be sitting there just the calmest she can be, but that Brown come out, boy.
Ooh, baby. Oh, okay.
I might try
Lee,
white
you
that
have
night.
to. Lee,
Okay,
I'm gonna
there
need you
it
to
is.
do. Okay, Mr. Nicholson, I'm gonna need you to do something. I need you to ignore anything Jeremy has to say. Okay, he has a mental block and a complex when it comes to Peach County, and it's kind of unhealthy. So the best thing to do is just kind of ignore it and don't even address it and understand what you're dealing with. He really has a complex, and I'm not playing about that. Like, it's serious. So just ignore it, baby. That's what I do. Yeah. Okay. Well, guys, y'all don't understand how you all have given us energy and how much we appreciate, and the fact that y'all have come back to see us. And we didn't even make an announcement that we were coming back this week. We just made the decision. Okay, we're gonna get on Wednesday. We got on here, and y'all follow suit. And so when I tell you we got the best podcast listeners in the state of Georgia,
Hands
I
down, baby.
mean that. I mean
Hands
that.
down.
We appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. Y'all just don't understand what y'all do for us, and the fact that we were off for an entire month and almost a month and a half, and then for y'all to come back the way that y'all did with absolutely no announcement, it really does our heart good. We're going to try to be here every Wednesday until the season starts, and then of course we'll go back to
A regularly scheduled program.
multiple times a week. But we just thank you so much. So much. We appreciate you. And we love you all. Let's see. Let me answer these questions right quick before we get out of here. Chris says single AD2 is the interesting one. How do y'all feel about the Middle Georgia Classic at Fort Valley this year? 6 games in 2 days.
Very, very, very interesting. I think it's going to be a start of something major. The great Fort Valley State University, which my daughter will be attending this fall, and my sister is an alumni, and I also attended Fort Valley State.
So you are an alumnus, sir. You're an alumnus of Fort Valley State University.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You know, you got to always correct people with your
No,
But
I'm just telling you.
hey, don't raise your voice now. Just
I'm not raising my voice. I'm just telling you, if you ever matriculated at the school, you're an
okay.
alumnus.
See now, if anybody know what that means, just give it to me in layman's terms. I get it. If I ever went there, then right.
You're an alumnus of the
Okay.
school. You don't have to necessarily be a graduate.
Okay.
You're still an alumnus. So
Now,
go there.
like I was saying, man, that's something that should have been going on, and I'm glad Mercer backed out for whatever reason. I'm glad Fort Valley State picked up the ball, and I hope they continue to allow this to go on and more teams start to attend and it grows to something major.
Yes.
Yes. Just I need you to do us a favor.
Okay. What would you like me to do?
See if we can set up and do the show out there.
We're working on that, EP.
All right.
I'll get with you on backstage, but we already working on that.
All right.
Yeah. So we again, we appreciate y'all, and we didn't make an announcement last week, but just know next week we'll be back here.
We will be right here at the same time. It all depends on how many mules Jessica have to chase, though.
You the one with the birthday the next day.
Yeah, my birthday is next week, and I might be absentee.
You ain't gonna be absentee. If I ain't gonna be absentee, you ain't gonna be absentee. Because my birthday is coming up too, fellas. I'll give y'all my cash out next week. But again, thank you so much. Okay, yeah, Aquinas is getting a brand new stadium, and you know, maybe we will get over there to Augusta to check it out. We need to do a little traveling. I don't mind.
Real quick, Patrick, we've been invited to Augusta, but we've been invited to Lucien Lane first. So when we come to Augusta, we will not step foot on Aquinas without going to Lucien Lane first. Trust me.
No, Mr. Bird. Mr. Bird. He's speaking for himself. If I got a choice on a Friday night in Augusta to be at Aquinas or Lucien Lane, I'm going to Aquinas.
You talk about taking the Arsenal.
I ain't going over there. You can go over there if you want to. Them people in Augusta do not play the radio.
And we was invited for the homecoming. That's these words.
I'm not going over there. But again, we'll sit down and kind of mesh it out and see where we're going and if we can go anywhere, because I mean we do have our own schools, so and we're fans, so but we will try to get to see some of you all, because we really appreciate y'all so much. We really do. So again, my podcast, y'all got anything else to say?
Nothing but love, y'all. Miss y'all, my podcast family, the listeners, man. We appreciate y'all so much. We do apologize for I won't even say hiatus. I say the hibernation that we had to go into. Life was life. And so again, keep all our panel members in y'all prayers, man. We appreciate y'all so much.
Good night, guys.
Good night.